Shamanic Iwar Priestess here, and I wanted to make this quick video. Well, I don't know if it's going to be quick, but there's two things I'm going to talk about, so I'm going to lump these two together. Hopefully you enjoy this video. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was gratitude. I am so grateful for everyone that has purchased my workshops, both the first summer session of the Hoodoo classes and the fall session of the Hoodoo classes, which both went very quickly. Also want to thank everybody who purchased La Madama class. It is booked out and sold out. So both sessions of the Hoodoo courses are sold out, as well as La Madama. I also want to thank everybody for purchasing the Folk Magic workshop. That one's almost sold out too. So if you wanting to work folk magic, okay, and work with the saints and Bible magic and Psalms magic and all that fun stuff, and working with the saints to manifest and everything else, this is the class for you. So pretty much it's about 75% full. So once the class gets filled up, I will take it out of my shop. So if you've been thinking about purchasing it, this is the best time to do so. And it's still available on my website, shamanic.priestess.com. So once that class gets filled, it will no longer be available on the website. So thank you guys so much. I'm always so surprised how quickly my class sells and how quickly the class gets filled up. So it's really exciting. The next thing I wanted to talk about, this video is so shaky. I'm not trying to get anybody seasick. Well, not seasick, motion sick. It's going to be about a topic that I've been wanting to talk about. And that topic is how to know when someone's a fake spellcaster. Okay, so with spirituality becoming more popular and more mainstream and all of that, people who are looking for genuine help and wanting someone to do spiritual work for them, it's easier to just, go online, Google search it, go on YouTube. You have all these people that claim to be spellcasters, things of that nature. And so this video is inspired by an experience that I had years ago. Before I ever got into spirituality, I'm talking about, I was like in my early 20s, and I had on the internet, like a psychic. So I went to this psychic, and I wanted to know if she did like spell work or whatever, because at that time I wasn't really practicing, and the petition that I wanted, it wasn't something I wanted to ask my mom to do, because I know my mom does stuff. And I should have listened to my judgment, because she pretty much made it seem like my situation was worse than what it was. And I felt like I just had to give her the money she asked for. The money was a lot of money. She asked me to wire the money via Western Union. So I did that. And pretty much once she got the money, because she was calling me like, hey, you got the money, I got to start this ritual or whatever. The situation was like a dire situation. I was very desperate, so I sent her the money, pretty much giving her my rent money, okay? And once she got the money, once they said the payment went through, I went to call her to follow up, and she blocked my number. I've never heard from her again. So basically, I know she didn't do any work on me, and she was a scam artist, okay? And everything like that. So this is why I'm making this video, because I've had clients that have spent outrageous amount of money. Not only didn't they get the results, they've actually gotten blocked, threatened by the so-called spiritualist, and things like that. So this is like a cautionary tale, and I'm going to give you signs, to look for. So one is someone who instills fears in you. You go for you're feeling like you're fine, and all of a sudden you go into a reading and they're like you're cursed and all this bad stuff and da 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 da. But if you pay me this amount of money, I will take your curses away. Curses are real. They're not fake. They're real. However, some people use fear tactics to get you to purchase these really outrageous amounts of money for spell work and rituals. And that's a sign that someone is a false spellcaster, because when people come to me, sometimes they think they're cursed, and I'm like, no, what's going on is this, this, that, and the other. And I'll give them like a simple remedy they could do, and they could themselves spiritually cleanse themselves, take a spiritual bath, things of that nature. So not everybody that thinks they're cursed are cursed. Now, there has been the occasion when someone is cursed, and I would give people a remedy that they can do themselves. Most of the time, people are like, no, I'd rather you do it. So we discuss, okay, I'll do it for the person, and I try to be reasonable with my pricing and things like that. But I'm not instilling fear, like, if you don't do this said spell, you're going to die on Tuesday and da 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 da. Like, it's not, it's basically people look for you. You don't go out there and strike fear. I never try to make anyone feel powerless or fearful. Even if something negative comes up in the reading, I love to make people feel comfortable, and I want people to feel empowered. I don't want anyone to ever feel like you have no control over anything. You're just like helpless, you know. We always, to a certain extent, have certain control. So anyone who tries to instill fear, almost like bullying you into getting a spell, intimidating you, brainwashing you, playing psychological games with you, run away from that person. There's people that I still put under the category of fake, are the ones that, while they're well-meaning, they don't know what the hell they're doing. So one thing is to cast spells for yourself, and you don't know what you're doing. That's on you. Whatever happens to you happens to you. Another thing is, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't really have experience, you're basically treating your clients like guinea pigs. So if you haven't tested these rituals on other people to make sure they're going to give people results and actually learn the proper way to do things, then you shouldn't be charging people for stuff. You know what I mean? No one is 100% on anything. But at the same time, you should have mostly success when you're doing something. You know what I'm saying? Like 99.99 or 98. You know what I mean? But if you're just pretty much, I read a book, never really tried anything, okay, now I am in the Etsy shop and I'm selling spells. That's not right, because you're taking people's money and you actually don't know what you're doing. If you're using deities or energies or things that you don't know how to control or use or work with, you can cause dire situations in people's lives. You can actually wreak havoc, mess things up for them. People are coming to you in desperate situations. So please know what you're doing. You know what I mean? I, as a general rule, like to do a consultation with someone before I would do a spell, or actually have a rapport, like we've read a couple of times, I know you, that type of thing, because I want you to know how I work, what my code of ethics are, what my expectations are, things of that nature. I do try to touch base with clients, whether it's a voicemail or emailing you or messaging you on Skype. Hey, I'm doing the work. This is what's going on, da 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 da. And I always tell my clients, let's always do our follow-up readings and check on things and all of that. But there's people that they claim to do all these things, and then I've had so many people who've come to me who have paid outrageous amount of money to spellcasters, and when I read, they did the work, but they didn't know what they were doing, and they actually messed with the result. So I have to do a whole spell to undo whatever they did, and then start from scratch, and that delays results. That causes, it causes the client to have extra expenses, because people are advertising themselves to be able to do things that they don't know what they're doing. That also goes with making unrealistic promises to people. I've had people like, hey, do a spell so that I can be a size 2 tomorrow. Like, that's not going to happen if you don't, diet, exercise, all of that. So, or I want a job, but you have no qualifications for a job. You're not even looking for a job. That, there's spellcasters that tell you they can help you with that. Or I'm going to return your lover, but you're doing nothing to get the person back. Like, yes, I do spells like that, but I'm also a realist. I also try to be real with people. Some work takes longer than others. Some spells I have to do a bunch of stuff before I get the main spell going, because there's varying factors. This is why reading about the situation, not just taking the client's word of mouth, is so important. So a lot of people just don't know what they're doing. They may be well-meaning, and some of them don't care. They just want the money. So 3, like I told you the story. So they ask you to wire money. That's 3. Be careful with that, right? Because once you wire money through any type of wiring services, it's non-refundable. So and blocking you. Okay, they cast a spell for you and then they just don't want to talk to you anymore. That's an issue. I'll tell people like, hey, I'm done with your work. Yes, you have to pay for a reading if you want to know other stuff, but I'll let you know, hey, your work is done. Things like that. Like, I'm not going to ignore you, block you from communications or anything like that. Some people will block you right after they get money, never hear from them again, and things of that nature. Anybody who solicits you, that's scammy. Hey, I was talking to my spirits and they told me you are cursed, like some random stranger. There's people like on my channel, I had to block websites or links and stuff because doctor, magic doctor, whatever. And you'll have people, they'll see like you have a certain amount of subscribers, and they'll go in the comment section and like literally advertise their website or whatever the hell. And doctor whatever made my husband come back in 5 hours, and bullshit. And if someone is legit, they don't have to solicit you. Yes, I advertise myself on YouTube, but I'm not going, mass emails and stalking people. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, I turn people down for workings at times when I feel like they're not realistic or I can't get you the results you want or whatever. But, when it comes to spell work, people seek me out. Sometimes it's word of mouth, like, hey, she did some work for me, it was amazing. And they'll like recommend family members, their parents, and the same thing goes for readings. So when your work is solid, like, people will find you, and word of mouth and all of that stuff, So people that are soliciting you to the point of harassing you, going on other people's channels, giving you weird links and all of that, stay away from that. Also, spellcasters, they won't tell you how much something costs up front. What do I mean by that? Now, I always say on the spell work consultation, so the consultation I would do before spell work, all pricing will be discussed in the session. Why? I don't be like, this spell's going to be $9.99.99 and put it in the shopping cart. Everybody's case is individual, and the complexity of the work is individual, and the energies that I will have to manipulate and all of that to get you your results. But when you book that spell work session, the reason why I like doing that is because I get to read on your situation. I get to tell you what I'm expecting. I discuss the cost right there in the consultation. You can choose whether or not to work with me and those kinds of things. So we literally focus on what you're wanting. I see if I can help you. I consult the spirits, and pricing is discussed. All costs are up front. I'll be like, you only have to do one spell, so this is how much it's going to cost. You might have to do 4 different rituals. This is how much it's going to cost. Let me know if that's something you want to do, because spell work is an investment. So I tell you what your costs are once we do that consultation. There's spellcasters that would tell you, they'll have a one price for everything, and then the spell doesn't work, and they're like, oh, you might need something stronger, and then you do another thing, and oh, you might need something stronger than that, and next thing you know, you thought you were saving money, but you actually have just spent in the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Like, you're pretty much scammed out of a bunch of money, and nothing happened because they didn't read on it. It's pretty much like, we're just going to keep experimenting with your situation. So be careful with the upcharges and all this stuff. I always tell people, you do a spell, that's great. The follow-up readings are a separate situation, and things like that. So, but the spell work is right there. I tell you more or less when you should check in on stuff like that. Um, and again, number 7, they don't provide any type of consultation. They're just like, yep, I could help you without even knowing your situation. Stay away from that. And 8, making false claims. I do a have your spouse return in 1 hour to 1 week. Have them love you like a zombie or whatever. Like, light this candle and you'll lose like a bunch of weight, or beauty spell like now you're perfect. All this stuff. So there's a lot of people that make crazy claims on the workings they can do. If something sounds outrageous, it's because it is, okay? So I like to tell people, hey, I do this, I do that. If people come to me like, no, I don't do that kind of work, and things of that nature. I do work both sides, of the left and the right. That doesn't bother me. I walk happily in the middle. However, there's just some things, realistically speaking, that magic cannot do, okay? No, a magician, a spellcaster, a witch, whatever you want to call yourself, is not God. So, do this spell work. I've had people like play with people's lives, like, oh, someone's on their deathbed. Yes, give me all this money and I'll, cure this person so they don't die. Like, that's really disgusting. I don't like that. I had somebody tell me a story about that, and the spellcaster, when they couldn't come up with the money, literally said, that's why you killed your parent, So you just have some disgusting people out there. So yes, I believe in a lot of things that I see some people on here don't believe in, that are content creators, but I believe in it. However, even I say there are some things you just can't do with magic. Now I do return, reconciliation, so making having an ex come back, marriage spells, finding a new lover spell, sex spells, money spells, protection spells, unhexing, uncrossing, all of that. I do all of that. Okay, I don't believe in do no harm. I don't believe in all that stuff. I do what I have to do in order to get my clients the results. I believe in justice. That's it. I don't believe in black magic versus white. That's no such thing. It's magic is magic. You just choose what your code of ethics are. However, I don't make false promises. You're not going to get a job for $1 million a year if you don't have the qualifications for it, right? That's not realistic, and things of that nature. So yeah, basically that is that. And so these are the things you should look out for when you are hiring your spellcaster, okay? All right, guys, so much love, much light, much blessings. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and until the next video, bye.